Hello and welcome to Livin Your Kick-Ass Life, where I interview people about steps that they've taken to do just that, live their kick-ass life. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's kick-ass coach and psychologist, and today I'm going to be interviewing Deena Chester, who is a life coach and hypnotherapist. And I see Marlo is here. Hi, Marlo. She is the owner of Accept Your Power, which is a coaching business, and she's going to be talking to us about how to capture your unique life purpose. So if you can think of anybody that you know who would be interested in hearing about how they can go about figuring out what their unique life purpose is, share this video with them now so that they can be on live in case they have any questions they'd like to ask, etc., or find out more information about Deena. So we're just waiting now for her to do her, well, when I hear the phone ringing, hopefully that's not her having trouble. There's Jerry. Hi, Jerry. So we are waiting. I see Marlo and Jerry on so far, but I'm waiting to see Deena. So we'll just give it a minute until we, what I typically am looking for is there's a little eyeball up in the corner and tells me how many guests are on live, and then when I can see who all is here, I can check in and pick the person that I want to have go live with us. So we will see. We'll give it a minute yet and see. Sometimes it takes a while for it to register on everybody else's feed. So let me see if I have any notes from her. Nope, nothing yet. So we're just going to bide our time here and see. We practiced yesterday, so it's always good when you practice because then it helps get through some of the technological hurdles. So we'll just give it a minute here yet. And, ooh, windy out there. Holy buckets. It's a good thing I took the planters down yesterday. They would be flying around in the wind like crazy, so I'm just going to boost this out of my way so I can see my feed here. And let me just send her a quick note. Yep. Enter. All right, so we'll just give it another minute or two here. If not, I can always jump off and then jump back on. The only problem is then I have to retype all of the stuff that I put into the feed in the first place. So now we've got a third person, and I just need to, it says and one, just like it did the last time. My guess is she's the and one, but I'm sorry to keep poking at you guys. Just working on getting this to let me see that she is the person who's on. And it drops in, whoops, of course someone sent me a message. I love technology and technology loves me. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna, she says she can't see me quite yet, so I'm going to add in, I see there's a third person on here, but it doesn't let me see if it's you. We'll just go with that, see what we get. Because if it is her, I'm not exactly sure then how we turn it. So, I mean, I threaten this every week, I know I do, but Marlo and Jerry, I could add either one of you in as my my guest. The only problem is you have to accept my invitation, so my guess is you'd probably say no. There's Deena. All right, so okay, come on, cooperate there. Go live with Deena in the right direction here, guys. One of these lifetimes I'm going to have one of these videos go smoothly at the beginning. Once we're on, they go great, but getting on, yeah, not so much. So it's inviting her, and then when she joins in, there we go. Hello, Deena.
Hi.
Maybe it just takes time for it to get to Arizona. I don't know.
It must. I thought, oh, this one's going to go smooth. But, oh, well,
Well,
we're here.
I was just saying to the people who are watching that it goes as smoothly as it's going to go. Hey, Karen, I see that you've popped in too. So right now there are 5 of us on the call. So this is wonderful, and we'll keep adding people as we go. Again, I did introduce you, Deena, and I did say that you're going to be talking about unique life purpose, and that if they knew anyone who would be interested in hearing what you have to say about tapping into their unique life purpose, this would be a great time for them to share this call with whomever they think could benefit. So, yes, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here. So, give us a little background about yourself. Tell us a little bit about maybe your pre-kick-ass life.
My previous life. I'm Deena Chester, owner of Accept Your Power. I was born in the coal fields in Virginia, which I suspect is absolutely beautiful right now with the leaves changing.
Oh, I bet.
I do. Um, it's a great area to be from, great people who would take time to appreciate a flower or to notice, oh, the sun's shining, that kind of thing.
Wonderful.
A little difficult to get into a career as a female in that area.
Okay.
So I just honestly didn't think I could do much of anything. Very little confidence.
Wow. Okay.
Didn't think of opportunities.
All right.
But I had that little inkling of life purpose. Didn't know what it was. So I just kept trying. So I went on, I started nursing. That wasn't for me. Got degrees and associate in science, ended up medical technologist. So I was the one behind the scenes when you get your blood work done. I was the one back there running those results. So, yes.
Okay.
Eventually got into computer science and working with electronic medical records.
Okay. So like 3 or 4 different test drives to figure out what you maybe didn't like as much, but those were helpful in terms of heading you in a direction.
Absolutely. The things that it did was it helped me gain confidence and know that I actually was intelligent and that a young woman can be successful. So all of those things were great things, but it was, I would move up the corporate ladder, but I didn't like it.
Okay.
Thinking, well, there must be something else. I'd take another class, another business class.
Right.
Didn't like it. Stressful.
Yep.
Weekends, holidays, just, and then after a while, I worked so much that just kind of lost all the joy. All I did was work.
Okay. Well, and I think a lot of people do that. They keep trying and approaching and doing and doing and doing and something, but inside there is something stirring saying, wait a minute, that still little voice that's letting you know there's something else.
You're exactly right.
So how did you get to the point where you began to step more fully into your something else?
Unfortunately, I do things the hard way.
Welcome to the crowd.
So I suffered through it for a long time because I thought I had to. But then I'm like, there's got to be more than this. I mean, this is all the joy there is in life. I don't know. It's not what I signed up for.
Gotcha.
So I started to take classes, different things that I was interested in. So I became a Reiki master, which is like hands-on healing. And I loved it. Reflexology, psychology classes, just exploring. And with each one, I'm like, this is cool. Oh, I kind of like this. And then I took hypnotherapy.
Yep.
And that I really like.
Yes, that was actually my first foray into something beyond talk therapy was hypnotherapy. And
awesome.
Yes.
I realized that.
Yes, and it was very much wow, there is much more we're capable of and much more we can access than what we've been led to believe. So talk a
Absolutely.
little bit about your hypnotherapy training and experience and how you use that now.
Okay, sure. Um, just for those of you that may not know what hypnotherapy is, it's a very natural, relaxed state of mind. And I went in, again, I'm a math science major. I've been in traditional healthcare, very skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
And I went through Clinical Hypnosis Institute in Michigan, and she said, okay, if you write out, take a class, if you don't like it, I'll give your money back. Okay.
That's a pretty good
And I went in,
guarantee.
arms crossed, like, we'll see. But what I learned very quickly is you're not knocked out. You have total control.
Mhm.
You can walk away at any time should should there be an emergency or something.
Right.
Because you have to be able to hear this voice.
Right.
It can't make anyone do anything, nor would I want to, against morals or values or
No.
it's just
It's more about creating a pinpoint focus so you can tune out all the other chatter and really dive deep is how I kind of think about it.
Yeah. Exactly. It's well, just to give you a little example, if everyone out there, if you can see my hands, just put your hands out in front of you and fold them. And I'm trying to be still here. I can see fingers just a little bit apart. And now all I want you to do is think about, as you look at those fingers, that they just want to come together. And as you let your hands kind of relax, those fingers just want to touch. And they just feel almost like a magnet coming closer and closer and closer. Now, some of you, your fingers will be touching.
Yep.
Some of you may have wanted to resist and you're trying to muscle keeping them apart, but you feel the pull. But that's how simple it is, because what your mind thinks, your body agrees with.
Yes. Yes.
One analogy that I give in weight loss is people will say, I'm like, careful of your words, everything I eat goes to my hips.
You've just set it up so that everything you eat goes to your hips. Yep.
Absolutely. Your subconscious mind's like, okay, I gotcha. Eat something. It's going to your hips. But that's just the power. And if you, it's a trance state, but we're in trance all the time. Watching TV, now Facebook. I used to drive in Virginia over a mountain every day in a stick shift car. I would get from A to B, and sometimes I would get to work and I'd think, I don't know if I changed gears. I don't know if I hit anyone. I don't know if I stopped at the red light. I thought I probably did, but that's trance.
Yes. Yes.
My subconscious mind knew what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it changed gears and we got over the mountain. But my conscious mind was in that, did I follow up? When's the next appointment? What I got to do at work? Am I going to get yelled at because I didn't,
Right.
That.
Right. And I think also we trust that if something comes into our awareness, if a deer steps out, we're going to snap back to paying attention. And I think the same thing is true with hypnosis. We can be under and deep and focused, but if our phone rang, it would probably bring us up some.
Exactly.
Yeah. So once you began using the tools you had, obviously you use them for yourself. Once you began using them for other people, the benefit of other people, what did you notice as you expanded into that?
I knew that it worked, but it still to this day amazes me.
Agreed.
I mean, it's like I know it. I mean, whether it's quitting smoking and I incorporate life coaching too in my programs. So I can kind of individualize. I'm very intuitive and work with the people. But sometimes I say I dehypnotize people because we got false beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
We're not living that unique purpose, that authentic self. So sometimes it's just as easy as pulling off that onion layer where someone told you you weren't good enough or you weren't valuable
Right.
or
Or you weren't going to amount to anything, or nothing you had to say was important, or all of that crap. Yep.
exactly.
So as you're working with somebody, you said you're intuitive. Talk about that a little bit. How have you allowed your intuition to serve your work?
I feel like we all have that purpose. People use different words that they're connected to a source. Could be God, could be Great Spirit, could be whatever that connection is.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned with my intuition, which very interesting. A lot of we call them the grannies in the mountains, in the Appalachian Mountains, were very intuitive. So what I do is very often I feel like I'm just that hollow bone. So when they tap in, when the client taps in, I just let it flow through, and it's what they need to hear. And
trusting that. And I think my guess is if we went back and looked at the upbringing of those grannies, there was probably something there, a cultural belief or whatever, that this is an okay thing to do. And it was allowed to manifest as opposed to being squelched, as opposed to being told, well, that's all in your head, or that's just your imagination, or you're making it up, or all that stuff that people have heard and then shut their intuition down.
Oh, good point. True.
Yeah. So when you're working with somebody on life purpose, can you talk a little bit about what are the steps you take them through? How do you help them tune in and assess what their life purpose is? What's that work like for you?
Actually, I use a lot of tools. I have quite the tool bag, but we start at a basic where we need to see what's out of balance in your life. I know the first time I ever did, I used one tool, let's call it balance wheel. The first time I did that, it did not look like a wheel.
It wasn't going to go down the road very well.
No, not at all. And part of that was the career was so off. I mean, you work in healthcare, you touch lives. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it was so off track and I wasn't living my purpose. So I start with clients doing that so we know where you're at. Some people already know, they just want to fine tune it. And when I talk about unique life purpose, it doesn't have to be you're going to change careers, although I think a lot of people do, like myself.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that you used to paint, you did crafts, but then when you got busy, you just put it to the side.
Mm-hmm.
You're just for other people, doing what the job says, and you've lost that joy.
Right. Pretty soon you're away from all of those things that fill your soul.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I use different tools like that. Some of the new programs that I'm rolling out as I relaunch my business is I'm going to do some programs where we'll do a one-on-one because I really want to know where you're at. Then we'll do group because there's such benefit. I know Bonnie and I are in a group together, and it's been so huge to know that, oh gosh, I'm not alone.
Right.
There's other people that had the same
questions, same life experiences, same stumbling blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So like for you, what would you say are some of the stumbling blocks that you've hit as you've moved more toward being in alignment with who you're really here to be? Where did you bump into the walls?
It takes courage.
Agreed.
And honest, and I'm totally honest with my clients. As we were talking about, especially where I came from before, I remember the phrase, you're to be seen and not heard. So I was so bashful that it hurt. But I thought, I need to hide, and I certainly don't have a voice. So that was quite the growing for me. I could stand in front and teach computer classes.
Well, and here you are on Facebook Live. Holy cow.
Hey.
Yeah, so that growth is evident, very evident.
Thank you.
Cool. So, resistance. What kinds of sneaky tricks would your conditioned self pull to try to get you off your path?
The biggest one, I don't have time.
You don't have time. Okay. Yep. That 4-letter word, time.
I'll do it later.
Okay. So some procrastination coming in.
I like lots of things, so I have a tendency to take more classes.
Okay. All right. So
Which,
I need to learn more before I can do more?
right.
Okay. Gotcha. So then how did you confront all of those? How did you move yourself past those so you're actually doing what you're doing now?
I use the same things that I use with clients. Journaling is one, because that taps into your subconscious. I totally started to learn to be honest, and one thing that I teach clients is to, who's your real self, authentic self, who's your conditioned self, and I help you know how to identify those.
Which is
because
huge.
You can.
That's huge.
It is.
Yeah.
And once you can get that awareness, then you can start to say, oh, okay, what was that really? I'm trying to think of an example. Like if I have a dog here, I think he's in the other room, but when he comes up and he's a big old bundle of love, just a very gentle soul, I know how that feels in my body, my heart. And it's you can breathe easier, you're not tense.
Mm-hmm.
The situations like I had in corporate where you were like, I would cringe, stomach's tight, heavy.
Yes.
And I'm not hardly 5'2", so I didn't need any more weight pushing me down.
I get that one.
I need to be lighter. So I teach, and that's how I know. Even though sometimes I'm still very analytical and logical, I'll be thinking something, I'll be like, well, I can't do that because of that, and da-da-da-da. I probably should.
Uh-oh.
And every time I've learned when I say should, you need to back up, girl. Mm-hmm. There's something there that you probably shouldn't.
Yep, there's garbage in there.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what are the things, if someone is just getting started down this path, because I saw that a couple of the people who jumped on are 20-somethings. So if we're talking to someone who's just getting started with figuring out life path, what would you suggest for them? What would be helpful steps for them to take?
First off, I would like to commend those folks. I was in a class just this weekend, and one of the ladies was, 24 or something, and she was having those kinds of thoughts and questions.
Mm-hmm.
To be curious at that point, first off, is just awesome, and I commend them. Things you can do, you can talk to other people, you can watch live streams like this.
Yep.
You can go to classes. There's coaches like myself, like you, that you start to talk to. And when I think back to when I was in college, I had a lot of people would tell me, you can't major in so-and-so. You don't want to do that. One of which was psychology, because I loved it. And
how can you make a living at that?
And that's not where my degree is, but it was that connection with people, and the care is there. So when people around you saying, when they put their conditioned self on you, and you feel that, burst your bubble, kind of.
Yep.
Then start to think about those things, because I'm positive, that's that unique. And we're all born with, I think, a unique life purpose. God here to be who we're supposed to be. We just forget sometimes.
Exactly. it gets buried for a while under some other red herring trail, and then eventually you come back to yourself again and again and again. Yep.
For the young people, start searching, and when you hear that little whisper, that little interest that might seem not what everyone else is doing. I mean, I've always kind of been the rebel, and if you tell me I can't do something, I'm probably going to do just the opposite. But
watch me.
listen to that part of yourself. And I saw it in my employees. So.
Gotcha. So if you were going to share with the audience today, like a takeaway, something that is sort of their golden nugget for the day, what would you want them to take away from our conversation?
A phrase that I really like and I use in my class is, if you can conceive it, mean you can think about it, even if it sounds silly or weird or impossible. If you can conceive it and you think just a minute about, could it be believable? I mean, if I told you I'm going to be 6 foot tall tomorrow, I could conceive it. I thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not believable. But if it's conceivable, you can think about it, you have that inkling. If it's believable in your heart, then it's achievable.
Mm-hmm.
Is.
Well, and I think,
regardless,
I think too, regardless of what we believe to be the truth about physical stature, there's so much stuff that is actually changeable. For instance, I was talking with someone about aging the other day, and I said, how much of the aging that we do is because we believe this is how it's supposed to go. We believe we're supposed to have our joints go to hell, and our health is going to decline, and our memory's going to be crap, and we believe all that stuff. So are we not creating it? What would happen if we chose not to buy into that? Wouldn't that be cool?
That, I think, is awesome.
Yep.
And it's true. It's
absolutely. And I think there's also a tipping point with things that when, I mean, there's that old study with the I think it was monkeys on an island, and they started cleaning off their food. And when they call it the 100th monkey theory, when the 100th monkey was cleaning off the food, all of a sudden monkeys on other islands spontaneously began cleaning off their food. There was no communication across the islands, but the mindset changed. The vibe that was being put out there changed, and they began to realize, hey, we can do this. When the first person ran a 4-minute mile, they didn't believe a human being could do a 4-minute mile. When the first person did it, all of a sudden a whole bunch of people could do it because they saw that it was possible.
Exactly.
So I think this is the same thing that you're talking about. I get excited.
I think it's totally
about that. Can you tell?
I can tell. Keep going because I love it.
Awesome. Well, if someone wanted more information about working with you, how could they go about getting a hold of you, Deena?
You can go to my website. It's www.acceptyourpower.com. That's ACCEPTYOURPOWER.com. The cool thing, if you go there and if you look up in the right corner, there's actually a free exercise to see if you're connected to your life purpose.
Oh, awesome.
It's a really good way to see, oh, well, maybe I thought I was and I'm not, or maybe I am and I just need to take another step. There's also a guided imagery MP3 you can download.
Wonderful.
It's very relaxing. You can contact me that way. You can also email me at Deena@acceptyourpower.com.
And it's DEENA.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And we'll put those connections in the feed too, so that you all can access her information. Also, if you if you think again, if you think of someone that you're going, "Ooh, I wish they would have watched this because I think they could have really benefited," please feel free to share the video with them. It'll be on my Facebook page. It'll probably be on Deena's also, and so feel free to share it because we'd love to have more and more people believing in what's really possible. Like my tagline is, "We're all capable of far more than we think we are," and I think that you're a prime example of that.
Yes.
As you began to change your thoughts, your life began to change.
Yes. And once you get the momentum, so many more things open. The world gets so much larger that you never thought about. And I would even encourage, sometimes there's, as a life coach, I know I worked with Bonnie as a coach. Coaches need coaches.
Yes.
Because more of this cool stuff we figure out, then there'll be something new. So it's just,
and also one of the things that I think happens too is when we're here with a big purpose, oftentimes there's an equally big level of pushback. So we really do need a tribe to help us through the pushback so that we can truly manifest the goals that, all the gifts that we've been given on this earth walk.
Awesome. Absolutely. This little country girl from the mountains can do this kind of thing. I can only imagine what all the folks out there when they do tap in can do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I really appreciate you being on the show with me today, Deena. I've loved working with you in the past, and I just think your spirit is you have such a beautiful, soft, gentle spirit that I just love that.
Thank you, and I love working with you, and I thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because my thing is, we need to support each other. There's been way too much competition in this world. It's time for some collaboration and cooperation, and this is a way to help all of us, because there's a lot of people who probably wouldn't work well with me, but they might work well with your energy instead. Some people are the Mach 3 with their hair on fire people, and those are probably ones who will work well with me. And someone who has a softer, gentler spirit would probably work very well with you.
Yeah.
Awesome. So anything else you'd like to say to people before we're done today?
No, just follow your unique. You do, even if you can't see it, you do have a unique life spirit. And if you're not living it, it's just waiting to blossom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm also going to plant a little seed here that next week I'm going to be on vacation, and you guys get to come on vacation with me because we're going to be doing a live coaching next week on this program with Kayleen Welsh, who is a beautiful spiritual leader. And Deena knows Kayleen. And so we'll be broadcasting from Branson, Missouri. And so I just wanted to let you know that the show's going to go on, even though we're out playing and having fun. So,
are you going to sing?
Oh boy, we can try. We can try. That could be a hoot. We might be into vacation mode enough. We can manage that. We'll see. So, thank you again so much for joining me, Deena Chester. And we loved talking about unique life purpose because I think there's so many people out there just chomping at the bit, ready to go into it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining us on today's Living Your Kick-Ass Life, and we'll be back again next week. Remember, you're all capable of far more than you think you are. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.